This is the Amp Hour podcast, recorded previously but aired May 21st, 2012. Episode number 96, Senseless, Saccadic, Shemozzle. Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of Chris Gamble's Analog Life.
Hey Chris, we can't cut a break here, can we?
Nope.
With this
nope,
stupid mumble thing where you have to rely on this bloody thing they call the internet to keep our show up. We just started it, and 5 seconds into it just died.
You keep refusing to move to Ohio, so...
Right. And buy my 10 luxury houses for the, for the price of a
that's
VCR,
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's because we're coming to our listeners from the past.
We are. We recorded this a week ago, although it's live for us now.
It's pretty live right now, yeah.
So we're confused.
Yeah.
But
Dave's usually stuck in the past, but...
I am.
Today we're both stuck in the past.
Yep. When I was a boy.
Yep. Yeah, and that's because I am, how would I say this even? Chris is currently at Maker Faire, I guess, or wrapping up Maker Faire whenever we release this. Basically.
No, you'll be back home. Will you?
I'll probably be on a plane by the time we release this.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, we didn't want to deprive you of hearing us blather on for an hour. So, yeah, right?
Exactly.
So we did it a week early.
We did.
And I'm impressed with us for thinking ahead.
I know. It's very...
I can't do this in many other parts of my life.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Apparently in the Amp Hour I can.
Engineers are probably generally shit at that, right?
What's that?
Thinking ahead and do. Oh, well, no, we can think ahead in terms of, if you're laying out a board or something, like, if you're doing something technical, but when it comes to your life and stuff like that, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's just so much stuff to do.
Right.
Yeah. And speaking of, I've got a ton of stuff to do before I go.
Like what?
Still gotta write that speech. Still gotta, bring a hack. I don't know.
What, you have to bring a hack? Is that...
No,
is that expected?
I don't have to. Maybe. I don't know.
No, right. I thought you only bring a hack if you get it like a stand, like to show off something.
No, a lot of people bring stuff. They'll just make
right.
stuff and bring it. They don't necessarily have to be showing it off.
Oh, okay. And
usually it's a little more portable in that case, but
right, yeah, and it hangs in your backpack, right? And you,
yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the man bag, by the way.
Yeah, like the satchel?
Yes.
European carry-all?
The satchel, the Jack Bauer satchel in particular.
Jack Bauer. Oh, yeah, is that 24?
24, yes. I have the exact same one, and it's brilliant. I highly recommend the classic
Dave likes
messenger
man
bag.
Purses, huh?
Classic messenger bag, it's called.
Not a man purse?
No.
That's not a man purse?
Okay. No.
Okay. Why do you like them so?
They're just, it's huge. The amount of stuff you can pack into this thing is just incredible.
Put your keys, you could put in some lip gloss, you could put in a little package of tissues, you could...
And it's, and in one pocket on the side, I've permanently got a roll of tape, a roll of electrical tape. I've got my Swiss Army knife cyber tool, and I've got my Leatherman, and... it's just...
Yeah, so quite a hack bag there,
Yeah,
huh?
Absolutely. And take it everywhere.
Well, it's not bad, then.
And it's easy access, You don't have to undo zippers or something. The flap just comes up and just grab your shit out.
See, I don't like those kind of bags because they always end up... you only put them on one shoulder. Or you put them, even when you put them over your head, it's just... I'm more of a backpack man myself now.
Well, okay. Yeah. But, I find it kind of evenly distributes the load. It's got a big, thick, wide strap on it. It's just very nice product design. I like it. Anyway.
I'm not a man bag. I'm not a European carry-all carrier.
Neither was I. Neither was I. I was a backpack man, and I switched totally. So I use that, and I use it walking to work, and easily I can slip out my wallet. Right, it's really easy when I come up to the swiper thing to actually, to get into the building, and yep. Yeah, I don't have to take off my backpack and get it out, and it's just the thing just swings from the back to the front, and it's just, it's nice. Elegance of engineering, it is.
Or a purse, whatever.
Right, whatever. Yeah, but it's a nice, sort of army-coloured olive, army olive colour. It's very manly.
Yeah,
I guess.
I hate making fun of you for having a purse because we don't try and be sexist here because but it's just it's a funny thing to say to a guy, I guess. I don't know.
No.
It's
well, it's not a purse. I mean, a purse is like a.
Well, I was just thinking that Seinfeld episode. Like they talk about the man purse.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
Oh no, yeah, that's where the European carry-all term comes from.
Oh, right. See, I don't know the European carry-all. That term, I've never heard that.
No, that's from Seinfeld.
No.
I'm not that creative.
Right. And I didn't really know about these bags until the TV show came along, and Jack Bauer was carrying one. I didn't know.
Interesting.
Oh, there you go. Well, I kind of knew, and I thought, that's what, is, yuppies, carrying.
So do you watch Lost and you're like, maybe I should go hang out on a desert island?
It'd be awesome.
Yeah?
Why not?
Or Big Bang Theory, and you're like, maybe I should have Asperger's syndrome. I don't know.
But I've got to say, this particular bag is the only one I like. I don't like any of the other styles. I don't like the leather ones. I don't like the, because you can get like really fashionable leather ones, and all the people people in Sydney will know, all the people on the North Shore carry them, and that's like the, the rich, affluent area. And,
no, I wouldn't know that.
Right. Okay. And every city's got its rich, affluent area. And it's usually in the north, right? North of a maybe.
For us, it'd probably be the south because it's warmer in the south.
Oh, okay, right, okay. Right. Well, in a city, or you're talking the state of Ohio? There?
I just meant in the country.
Oh, in the country, right? We really go on macro scale now.
I don't know. North for me is a lake, so
right.
I guess.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Perhaps we should talk electronics at some point.
Yeah, we should. I know. We've just busted 7 minutes on freaking man bags.
Yeah. Oh. Well, what we were going to do this week, and we'll see how it works out. People know we have this list thing, right?
Yes,
and it kind of goes back a ways.
Oops.
We have guests on. We talk about one thing. We talk about man purses for one whole
exactly,
show,
and that wasn't on the list.
Right. And so sometimes we just end up deleting it all. But sometimes there's a lot of residual stuff, and there's some cool stuff on there too. So we're going to kind of go over some of the older stuff, maybe not all of it, but yeah, we kind of, will be like the, like on Jeopardy. Do you ever watch Jeopardy at all? You watch that show?
No. We don't
it's
have
like an
that
American.
Yep.
Okay, it's like an American show.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay.
And you answer a question with a question or something, don't you? Is that the...
Right, well, they give you the answer, then you ask. You have to ask it as a question.
Yeah, so I think
Alex
that's
Trebek
stupid.
is the host.
I think that's the dumbest format ever.
It's interesting. It's
retarded. No, don't.
It's like iconic, man. It's iconic.
Oh yeah, okay. I can understand it's iconic, but
anyways, there's a category on there called potpourri, and it's just the it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And that's what this will be. It'll be a potpourri show.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right.
So where do we start?
Well, I've got a shout out to a hackerspace. They call it.
Oh, this is actually kind of new. This is a newer one.
This is a new one. Yeah, like I just put it on the other night because I just saw it on YouTube. East Gippsland here in Australia. That's in Victoria, which is a state here, which is south of us, so not as good as New South Wales, which I'm in. That's right, and it's sort of out in the sticks. It's not near Melbourne, which is the centre hub of Victoria. It's sort of it's way out in the sticks, and as we call it here, I don't know, what do you call it out there?
Yeah, the sticks or the boonies.
Sticks, the boondocks or something, or whatever. Anyway, it's way out there, and they've got this. Man, watch the video. This place is enormous.
I did. Yeah.
Man, it was like.
What is that place?
I don't know.
Like an old.
I don't know.
School,
hospital. is...
Yeah, it was weird. It had like a really long central corridor and then just a lot of huge rooms off to the side.
Yeah, so you walk in the main door and there's this, like, it's got to be a 100+ metre long corridor with, all these, with a dozen rooms branching off. Unbelievable.
I'm sure when they walked into that space, they were probably thinking, I do the same thing. I just think about, I could put a bench over there. You just start dreaming up, and all this different things you could do, like put a carport in even, and, like for like working on cars or stuff like that.
I know. They've got a room for everything.
Yeah. It definitely is a cool space, but it's, I'm sure I'm sure you do the same thing when you walk into spaces, right?
You'd put.
You start planning in your head.
I love actually going to open homes. Even though I'm not buying a home, right? I just love going to local open homes and those home display villages just to look at how useless the spaces are these days. And go, what do you do with this? This is useless. When they've got you're just pissing away the space here. And,
Gotcha.
Yep.
Says the guy that was in a two square meter area.
That was incredibly efficient. Yep.
Yeah.
That was a master of efficiency, my old lad.
Yeah. What are you doing with all your space now, buddy?
50 square meters. I just spread the shit everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. I think about that picture when you moved in. It was just crap all over the floor.
It's still like that.
Is it?
Yeah. What, 4 months later, it's still like that.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Any update on your space? Any big plans coming up for it?
No. My mate Doug's coming over and going to install some LED lighting for me. That'll be exciting.
Very nice.
Yeah, because he's been to China, because he's in the LED lighting business. So he picked up some apparently reasonable quality stuff from China. He's going to pop over and install that. So
it's going to be custom then?
No. There'll be those tubes, those fluoro tubes. But he does have some custom stuff he wants to put on my bench, apparently. So he's, he's really keen to do that. So.
Yeah,
right.
Fancy.
Yeah, so we'll no doubt record that. And
yeah, that'll be a good one.
But apart from that, I want to build like a big camera rig that is up on my top shelf and slides along, and then the camera can actually look straight down. And I want to build something like that, but it's got to hold my heavy, big Canon camera, and it's got it's just, I don't know. I don't know exactly how to do it. So I was going to have those bearings, those sliding bearings along the top there. I think I've talked about this before, and I don't know. Anyway, that was the plan, but...
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Do you guys have smart meters there yet?
We do. They've been blowing up.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Can I just finish the hacker space thing, the maker space, before we get onto that? My first thought was, how the hell do they afford a place like that? And apparently, this thing's a complete building they've built. They've rented, right? They didn't buy it. They're renting it, but they put the money up for I think 12 months in advance. The two people who founded it. So they put but because it's out in the middle of nowhere and it seems abandoned, I think they got it reasonably cheap. Like you could if you bought a space like that here, it'd be probably in the order of $40,000, $50,000 a month. It'd be a month. Yeah, a month.
If you did that here, it'd be like at least $6 or $7 a month.
Right. Just some old abandoned building, huh?
Yeah. You can probably do it free if you're really adventurous. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You can have it for free as long as you keep the criminals out.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But anyway, it's awesome. So it's the East Gippsland Makerspace. So
cool. Yeah.
Hope it goes well.
You have to go down there.
Well, I am going to Melbourne next month. I think it's finally locked in, perhaps.
Cool.
Oh dear. Anyway, but it's a long way out. It's I'd have to drive for half a day to get there or something. So.
Oh wow. Okay. Huh.
It's a long way out of Melbourne.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
smart
meters.
Power.
Yes, they've been blowing up here. They've been making the news. The government's been, they started this program where they're installing smart meters, to monitor energy, use. Well, and, so someone doesn't have to come around and read your meter. A guy comes around with a little handheld computer and types in your number and all that sort of stuff. They don't need that
They've
anymore.
been talking about this for years. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, and the smartest ones, they're supposed to be able to network with each other, create a mesh network, and then be able to talk back to the grid and tell them not only like billing stuff, but also like live data on what the people are using.
I'm not sure how smart our ones are. I know they're smart meters and they do report back somehow, but I'm not sure exactly, if they're meshed together in a grid or, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the reason they do this is because, like, big loads, I mean, it took me a long time to kind of conceptualize this, I think. But when you think about, like, a big load jumping on the network, right? Like, someone turning on their dishwasher or, I don't know what else, maybe like a washing machine.
Oh, that's down in the noise, man. Come on, when you're talking about, 1,000 houses hooked in parallel, it's, it sort of averages out. People are turning off while others are turning on, Talking big loads, come on. Talk real loads, Talk factories, somebody switched on the lights to a factory or something. That's a big wampum load. House loads, I think, even out. I think there is. Anyway, go on with your story. Sorry, I ruined it.
Yeah, now that you...
Yeah, I poo-pooed it.
Anyways, there's a bunch of crazies that don't want these smart meters on their home, and they're insisting that they don't have them. And I was getting there, but Dave kind of kiboshed my point. But yeah,
are these the same people who, when they get their notebook or their new smartphone, they actually tape over the camera just in case the government's watching?
I bet they're probably in conjoining groups. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and they say because we can. They're going to be watching, what we use and whatever else, like what kind of power consumption and.
Well, that's the idea.
Right, exactly. But for some reason, that's a privacy concern. And,
right.
And I agree that it is a privacy thing, but and that you could back calculate, if someone turned on their dishwasher, but who cares?
I know. Who gives a shit? I mean, that's just.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I don't. But that's the, it's the thin edge of the wedge, as they call it. If you let them in to monitor something as, as pointless as your dishwasher switching on, then what's next? Kind of, yeah. So I can sort of...
Yeah, no, these people are still crazy. And really what I think... I remember the thing I was thinking. I was thinking about air conditioners, right? So like big honking inductive compressors, right? Yep. Those are really big. And that's really when the big problems come in, is in the summers, right? When you got... 1,000 houses, and it's a hot day out, and everybody switches on their air conditioner at the same time. And then you have to kick in, a whole nother, you get to turn on a whole nother turbine at a power plant or something like that. That's when it really matters, right? And I don't agree with, like, power companies being able to control your thermostat, because some of them actually do that, which is kind of weird. But, like, if it's on, it's on. Who cares? I don't know. I guess that's more of a privacy thing than it is a electronics thing, but... So what I'm trying to say with the smart meter thing is, I think they're being stupid, but, because it's the same group that also talks about, radiation, getting sick from, like, Wi-Fi radiation and stuff like that. It says in the article. So, right. Crazy about one thing, crazy about everything. That's kind of my, yeah. Yeah, so what else is on here? That was yeah. What else should we talk about on here?
Oh boy, we have Orcad.
Orcad, yeah, you were interested in this. So Orcad has a new online marketplace they've been talking about, and we found about this from Steve Leibson's blog, actually. Mm-hmm. But apparently, it's supposed to be like an app model, and I'm not sure if they opened up the ecosystem or if it's just. Like only closed and you can just buy bits and pieces from them, but...
Yeah, well, they're talking about footprint symbols, simulation models, get a look at app notes, white papers, and multimedia educational material. Huh? All from your convenient web browser. Well, isn't that possible now using something called Google?
Right. Right.
It's just... I don't know. I didn't think... that they were in a position to actually, to do that, to sell stuff like that. I know that Altium were looking into. Altium have spoken about that sort of model and how they want to do that eventually down the track. How everyone will contribute.
Yeah, everybody wants to do that. Everyone wants to copy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But sort of Altium's probably in a more of a position to do it technically because they do, FPGA stuff and they do the whole works, right? So the whole idea is that you can buy, IP modules from, people who upload, So the idea is, average Joe can upload this IP module, and then, Joe Blogs can download it and buy it, and it's like...
Right, except it's supposed to be a CAD program, so, yeah. Yeah, I like the idea, and it's the same thing we've talked about in here. We talked about how like the KiCad models. We were talking about getting some something started up with that, or CJ's
a central repository kind of thing. Yeah,
having like a repository, and I don't know if I mentioned back then. I actually found a service you can subscribe to. I don't know if I mentioned that. I forget what it's called now, though.
I think you did.
I didn't have the link here. I did. Okay, so go listen to that episode. And then listen to all the rest of the episodes too, people.
Yeah, right. Listen to the whole hour just to get the one snippet that you're...
No, I'm saying go back to episode 1 and just listen to all of our episodes all over again.
Oh, goodness. But there are companies, you can pay... Well, there are companies you can pay and they'll do a thing for you. They'll do the footprint, the 3D model, and the whole kit and caboodle for you, for $10, $5 or $10 or something, like for a small, it's sort of like a micro.
Oh no, this is a lot more. This is like a $5,000 a year thing that I was talking about.
Right. Okay.
But I like this idea of having a marketplace for footprints, but everything else.
Yeah, but they've always been free. It's always been a given that you. Yeah,
but if you do it as like a subscription stuff, right? If you said, $100 a year, you can access it, and
but then is it going to be in the footprint, the format that you want? I mean, that's the age-old question with CAD, and we've mentioned this before. Probably the majority of people redo their own footprints because they have their own internal company standard. They have specific manufacturing requirements, specific layout requirements, etc., etc. And those footprints are
really
covered by the IPC standard
company.
ones.
Right.
I don't know. I just think it's I can't see how this thing can be be useful at all. And Altium have had zero success with it, of course, and I'm sure that OrCAD will too. It's just it sounds great on paper. You're at the marketing meeting and it sounds
especially
brilliant. Someone probably got a promotion for bloody thinking it up, right?
Yeah,
it's just not going to work in practice. It's not going to work.
Yeah. Well, speaking of your former employer, we had another thing on here from a couple weeks ago, the 3D Gerber viewer.
Oh,
and this was actually, I found out about this through Lane on Twitter.
Yep.
Mayhew Labs is the name of
I've heard of them.
Site.
What else do they do? Because I've heard of them.
I have no idea.
Anyway, they've got this cool-looking 3D Gerber program. It's free. Oh, they do. Like, there are hardware. They do hardware, like little kits. They do Arduino shields and little kits and stuff like that. But I assume they wrote this themselves. A 3D.
Yeah, this is HTML5, and it's a 3D viewer.
Oh, okay. And it's online. Oh, sorry.
What did you think it was? You didn't even try it before, did you?
Well, it was only on the list this morning. I haven't had a chance to try it. Here we go. I've loaded it up, and you can drop your Gerber files straight in there. Should I do it?
Yeah.
Live on?
Well, you could. There's a bunch of examples there, too, which is a little easier to do. And, but yeah, it's great. I mean, it's, simple white background, but it's actually a 3D rendering of the everything. All the information on your Gerbers, all the vias and everything, too. And
awesome.
It's pretty nice. The only thing that's not on there that I haven't seen is if it's more than 2-layer, which I don't think it is so far.
Okay.
So that's the only downside.
Right. Well,
but I also haven't uploaded a 4-layer.
I'm going to try it right now. I've got the... Here we go. Live.
With the thrilling radio, huh, Dave?
Yeah. Here we go. I'm going to do... I assume that you have to do your drill file as well. So, because it knows how big your holes are and stuff like that, or is it no?
Funny thing, not. Folks, Dave has not yet figured out why his videos are so long.
Right. All right, here we go. I'm dropping my Gerber files in. Oh, and that's neat. It automatically knows which files you dragged and dropped, and it tells you that it then asks you with drop boxes which layer it corresponds to, and it got them correct. So it obviously knows the Altium layer. Naming format, like file extension, like .gbl is bottom copper, and that's rather neat. And that's they've got no. Okay, that's the outline. Okay, the mechanical layer done. I'm going to click done. here we go.
And hopefully Dave will be able to share this with everyone.
I'll be able to
which
share.
board is this?
Right.
Is this the microcurrent?
This is the microcurrent. I've dragged and dropped the microcurrent, and it's worked. Oh,
Nice. Very nice.
Hey, this. I wish I could show this to you, and it works as you expect. The center scroll wheel on your mouse, the mouse that allows you to zoom in and out, and then and then allows you to
here's
pan
something.
around.
Here's something different from the last time I looked at it, and this might help explain it. Finish with your design, order your PCBs for $100 or $1.50 per square inch for 3 copies, which sounds
right,
strikingly like Lane's service. So perhaps that's how he found out about it.
Right. Okay. Yep. They sell it.
Yeah.
There's a slight error on the silk screen here, but maybe an error on my solder mask, or is that my board? I don't know which version I dragged and dropped in here. It may be a out-of-date one. The only problem is it doesn't show the holes, which is really annoying. I mean, I did drag and drop in my file for the drill, all of the drill information. It didn't read that, obviously, but that's that would have been really nice if it could show your actual drill holes and stuff like that. But anyway, you can see your solder mask expansion, which is one of the main things. And it does seem to render the silk screen beautifully. I mean, I am quite impressed by that. You can't zoom inside the board, but oh, hang on.
Actually, this price is a lot better than Lane as well, too.
Okay.
This price is rendered. He charges $5 a board or per square inch.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. It's rendered the pads on my SO package incorrectly. Oops. I think they were ovals.
Correctly.
Yeah, I think they were oval pads, and it's really shaped them, well, as massive ovals, like not as sort of, rounded corner kind of ones.
Right.
Yeah, oops. There's a few issues, but that's pretty neat, especially when you can just do it online like that.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Thumbs up. And I'm sure it's a new thing, so,
up. Yeah, it's probably got some bugs to work out.
It's new. It's probably got some bugs in it, it gets sorted out, but yeah, I like it. Neat.
Now here's a part you can mess up on there. There's this new looking part from NXP, and it's called a SOT 1226. Have you seen this?
No,
It's
no,
a 0.8
no
by
good can
0.8
come from this
millimeter.
announcement.
I know, it's terrible. It's so tiny. SOT 1226.
Yep.
0.8 by 0.8 by 0.35 millimeters. That's like half a fleck of sand kind of thing. And it's got 5 pins on it though. Oh my god, it's crazy.
Well, has it got 3 per side?
3 pins
Actually,
per
no,
side?
it's weird. Like, no, it's okay. So it's showing. Oh no,
It's got
sorry,
like a diamond
I'm actually
center
mistaken. It's a diamond center pad. I'm actually mistaking the pads on the side. Those gold pads on the side. I thought they were.
Oh yeah. That's probably
Like,
for testing, or something. I mean,
I don't know. Oh yeah, the bare die. Yeah, there's not enough room in there for the die. It's got to stick out the sides.
yeah, that's actually
hell.
silicon. Oh yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
sometimes. I mean, I've been doing smaller designs lately, and I've been shocked that I've been like, SOT 23. Oh, that's much too big. No,
That's huge. Yeah, I know.
give me SU 70 or give me death.
Yeah. If you're making tiny stuff, then you love these things, right? But otherwise, it's just grown.
And if you have a microscope on your bench,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you couldn't solder this. You would have to reflow it, right?
Oh no,
Because
you
can solder the corner pads, but that fifth pad that diamond pad in the middle, which is right at smack under the middle, it's like a thermal pad.
Yeah, you could.
Is it a thermal pad?
Yeah,
or
you could do it with
pin?
a. It's probably a pin. It's for logic. This is for logic stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, of course, could you route that out? Is there enough room to actually route out that pad, or?
Right. Well, that's the question. Without doing like would it be a blind blind via?
A blind via straight through the pad, or a via in pad, as they call it, which is often frowned upon because sometimes you have to plug the via if you don't want the solder to wick down through the via, and you end up with a bad joint. So Sometimes you have to ask for plugged vias, please. Please plug my vias.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah, I know, it does. But otherwise, if it sucks away, or especially if you've got like 1,000 pin VGA and you've got via in pad, right? Because you didn't have room to round out those bastards, right? And it can suck away all of your solder paste. It just get wicked out down through via capillary action. Is it that wicks it down through the via? One of those physical actions of.
I'm not sure with solder if it's capillary action or if it's called something else. I mean, it's it's the same idea. I think. I mean,
I'm not a physicist.
Yeah, or a biologist where capillary action usually exists.
Ah, right, yeah. That's probably where I'm getting it from. Anyway, it's a rather interesting pain in the ass package. There you go. By all means, use it.
Right.
At your own peril.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great if you're doing really a mobile phone or something,
right.
Boy. And what's it targeted at? What type of devices?
They're talking about discrete logic. So,
right.
discrete logic. If you're doing NAND gates,
which is perfect for the 5-pin count, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
You've got the 5 pins. So you've got power, ground, 2 input, and an output. So it's perfectly suited to a individual gate package.
Yeah. That's not bad. Or an op amp if you're got a simple op amp.
Oh, you could have a simple op amp with no external feedback, no external compensation pin or something like that.
I think your Theta JA might not be very good with that. I mean, your heat sinking ability with a little tiny package like that, I think would probably burn up after not much at all.
It's not that great. Yeah. So it's signal devices, but I don't know. Meh, groan. Yeah. Imagine taking that to your like you take that to your board loader and they've never done one before, using this weird obscure package, and they've got we've got to spend a week experimenting how to get this bastard right,
Yeah, right. Yep. I mean, how do you even place something like that? I mean, like I've only seen pick and place machines that are like decently large parts. They can do like 0603s no problem, but 0402s that start to misalign, like that.
Usually there's a step. Usually there's a step up. When you go from 0603 to 0402, you have to have a different type of nozzle and stuff like that. So some pick and place machines aren't capable of going the 0402 route. So, and then if you get smaller than that, you got 0201 or something. Well, you need smaller things again. Smaller heads, smaller nozzle heads, and not every manufacturer is going to be able to do that, or they have to buy them special, so they're going to charge you extra. We have to charge $10,000 NRE because we have to buy special nozzles just for your project, and then that's when you start haggling. Oh, but you can amortize that cost over other customers, can't you? And they go, no, screw you, and
no,
give us a 10K.
You're it, buddy. Right.
Or if you've got some super wide package and they have to buy this special feeder reel that's 2 inches wide or something like that, because you've got a super long connector or something, and they don't have feeder reels to do it. And, oh boy, it's those are the joys of having your stuff machine assembled. You can't just send anything off to a manufacturer and expect them to do it. They may not have the capability to do that.
Right. It's no 3D printing, like circuit maker. Yet.
No, definitely not.
Have you ever done high volume stuff before? You said you have, right?
I've done a couple where the run is a few 100,000, if you call that high. Some people laugh at that. That's prototype,
I know. Right.
Compared to my farty novelty toy, which we ran through 10 million of them.
Right. I've only started to get into high volume lately. Like the high volume stuff I've been doing is...
What's your idea of high volume at your current...
My stuff, hundreds of thousands. I mean...
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah.
No one's saying it's from my current employer per se.
Okay. Okay.
Just to pretend.
Is that like the individual product level? See, the reason we got up to that level, like our actual product was we made, I think, 15,000 or something of this product, which is not huge, but there were 25 of one particular board in that product. right? So we had to, so then the volumes go up by times 25, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because there were 25 individual boards. They were little sensor boards that, are on these long 5 meter long arms, and they, and you've got 25, 5 arms times 5 sensors, and, it adds up. So, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
And at those sort of volumes, we actually designed our own automated test machine for that.
Really? Well,
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it had the hydraulic thing, our own custom chutes. You'd shove I've mentioned this before, surely. You shove the boards.
I think you were talking about pogo pins and everything, right?
Yeah, the pogo pins and the custom, and all the custom hydraulics to push the boards along the little jig, and then it goes into a pass-fail bin, and the little flippers to automatically feed them to the right. Yeah. But if you're manufacturing a couple $100,000, that's, you can put money into automating that because you have the budget. You might have a couple $100,000 budget to automate the testing of these things.
So the point I'm trying to make about the high volume stuff, though, and even though like my volumes aren't like super high volume, but like I didn't realize like just how much volume can like do for you in terms of price on parts. Like I just never really get.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think. Like we talk to a lot of hobbyists too, and a lot of hobbyists deal with the onesie twosies pricing, and and we deal with that as our own hobby stuff, right? But it's just it's insane,
Well, even some hobby stuff can go into the thousands, right? You might buy a whole reel, right? That's hobbyists can do that. If you're manufacturing hundreds of kits, you will buy reels of components, right?
Right.
So you're automatically up into the thousands sometimes, but yeah, this is another step up. Again.
Right. Yeah. And it really starts to get crazy, and as someone pointed out on Twitter, it's also about relationships too, like if it's not just if you're buying one reel at really high volume, it's also if you're buying, 1,000 different reels from the same company at very high volume, that can make a big difference too. But man, I just never realized, like it's bonkers. It's it's nice to be able to throw your weight around. I like it.
One of the design problems with that, though, is that getting prices can, high. If you're the design engineer, right, and you're trying to choose a part based on price, well, trying to convince people that you are actually going to buy that sort of volume can often be hard. That's where a full-time purchasing person with all the contacts and the trust with the various vendors will, they will get a genuine price for that.
Yeah, right.
Whereas you, if you phone up, you're an absolute nobody, and you're the designer, and you phone up, somebody cold. Oh, I'd like a price on 200,000 of these. They might even laugh at you almost. Like, who are you? I've never heard of you. I've never dealt with you before.
Right.
Kind of thing. And I don't have a relationship with you. Where are you coming out of the blue? This is not how it works. Kind of thing. And yeah, when you're up in those sort of volumes, yes, then you start having to build relationships and all that non-engineering stuff that engineers hate. Building, you always want to sit in their cubicle and everything's online. If the price isn't online, well, screw you.
Yeah, I've always wished. I wish there was like a way that that'd be like at a distributor or somewhere else, it knows what I'm buying for, right? So it knows I'm buying for Project X, and Project X is projected to do this, and I just want to be able to look at everyone and say, I want to know just their best price. I want like an online marketplace, kind of like that app market we were talking about, but totally different purpose, right? I want to be able to have people compete in front of me, in front of my eyes on a screen, right? Versus like emailing someone, what's the price on this one? Yeah,
and then going for lunch with them, and maybe
I don't mind the
negotiating
lunches,
a better price over lunch.
Yeah,
right.
I guess you don't like people, so
yeah, exactly. Yeah, humans. Yeah, grown.
Right.
So yeah, I know where you're coming from.
Right.
This can be, but yeah, I just want it up front. Dicking around. It's just inefficient. Just
right.
waste your time
and that's what it comes down
energy
to. Is eventually it's very inefficient. I think it's annoying.
Yep.
So.
Because if you have to wait 2 weeks to get a reply from somebody about the price of an item, a super huge volume price for an item, well, that's that throws off your design schedule because you have to make a choice now whether or not you're going to design that part in.
Right, and it's realistic. I mean, people go on vacation. Sometimes the boss somewhere else just isn't around, and it's like, well,
yep.
all right, well, see you later. Like it's like you could go on a hunch, but you might end up getting in trouble for that. It's just that's no fun. So
no. Oh well. Yeah, I've had that many a time. Why did you choose this part? It's gone obsolete. Well, Jesus, it's just bad luck. I didn't know it was going to go obsolete.
Yeah. Well, I asked them, and 5 years ago they said,
no problem.
This year, about May time frame.
Oh boy. Anyway, speaking of work and stuff like that, I love this Reddit post.
Oh yeah.
Where is it? Somebody on Reddit. It's a little bit old, but that's what we're doing today. We're going through old shit. Somebody posted on Reddit. We'll post the link up. Go and have a look. It's hilarious. They basically said, I've got a new job. I've just started at my new engineering job, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm just sitting here playing online games,
Yeah.
And... And some of the hilarious stuff is in the comments, so you have to read the comments. People throwing in all these suggestions.
Right, it's a tough thing.
Stuff.
I mean, and people always say, "Oh, well, enjoy it while you can." But like anytime I start a new job, I'm like, yeah, that's when you're the most eager and you have the least to do, right? I mean, like, so it is a tough problem to deal with, but. Yeah, some of those suggestions are kind of ridiculous.
I know. Well, they were designed to be because it's funny. So everyone took the piss out of it, and as we say here, took the piss out of it.
Right.
And absolutely hilarious. And hey, one of my early jobs, I was hired as the assistant. I was hired as a designer, but I was an assistant to the R&D director, right? So I was kind of, just to work on whatever he desired, right? And it wasn't a real job. He just hired me because he liked me, right? And he wanted me to maybe do some shit for him. Mm-hmm. So, I turn up to work and, well, he's never around.
Right,
So what the hell do I do, It's like he was one of the ones who, turned up at 7 o'clock at night and then worked from 7 to 2 a.m. or something.
Oh, really?
Like that.
Wow.
It was just never around. And, actually, trying to get some work was like extracting teeth. It was
and co-ops were like that for me too. Like I'd had a couple where it was just like you're really hoping that they'll give you the good work because you don't want to be handed like someone's like, oh, here's a database, go fix this.
Yeah,
and then you look like
here's a broom, go and sweep the floor.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, I sure could use a cup of coffee, but yeah, it's.
Can you please go and wet my soldering iron sponge?
Yeah. That'd be a hell of a job title on a business card, though.
Solder sponge wetter.
Sponge wetter, yep. Oh, that'd be good.
Extraordinaire. Sponge wetter extraordinaire. Imagine all the creative titles you could come up with for how you wet wet sponges. Boy. Marketing wank word bonanza.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I love it. But yeah, that's it's probably more common than you think. I've had no shortage of companies, especially interviews I've gone to. I haven't gotten or taken the job there, but I've asked them what will I be working on? I don't know. We just need more people. Is their response?
Sometimes you get hired because there's money to hire people, right? And they don't want to give that up.
There's money, exactly. I've had them come out and say that. Because there's money, and we need to hire people because if we don't spend the money, well, we don't get it again for the next project.
Right, yeah. And you never know when you might need someone, so why not just have them sit around twiddling their thumbs?
Have them sitting around, They sit around on tap, and that's not uncommon. I've spent many an hour... Many a month, many a year, sit around
waste time,
playing games in the labs. Oh man, hell yeah!
You're like the relief pitcher, right? You're like the
yeah, exactly. But then when the shit hits the fan, and well, you need to
get
produce,
and
you need to produce now.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, sometimes a whole week could go by and you got absolutely nothing to do. A whole team will have nothing, and you're just sitting in the lab playing video games or bitching about. How crap management is, or spreading rumors. Now,
what time frame was this? What years? Because I just don't know if this does this happen anymore. I don't know. And in fact, I'd love to hear from our listeners if this does still happen.
Right.
So,
hang on. Can I go to the door? I heard the doorbell. The wife's not here.
Oh, live action.
Can we go
action again?
Can we go and get a mystery package? Hang on.
Yeah, all right. What should Chris talk about? Jobs. I like this. Okay, so there's actually a post. This is another one of the old from the list, and this is more for the U.S. engineers, right? But there's actually a listing on the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is a U.S. government site, bls.gov, and there's actually a map, and it's pretty cool. So you can actually mouse over different country or different states in the country, and this one on LinkedIn is actually for electrical engineers, and you can see the densities of where the most engineers are, and it's kind of surprising actually. So there's and it does it by color. So what state is that? Colorado's white? That doesn't make sense. They must not have data from there. But Texas is pretty dark. California's dark, obviously. Ohio, Virginia probably because of the defense contracting, that kind of stuff. And then Massachusetts and Florida. And that's it actually shows the different densities. So I thought it was pretty cool. What else is this? There's other graphs on here, mean wages and stuff like that. Obviously, California is super high wages, as is Arizona, and Washington because of Seattle and stuff like that. So definitely a cool map to check out. I feel a little naked here. Dave's not here to yell at me. Maybe he's not coming back. All right. Well, let's see. The jobs is done. He's coming. Yeah. Guarantee this was baby clothes or something like that.
Well, that so didn't work.
Yeah. What was it? Baby clothes?
Yeah, sorry. Have you been talking all this time?
I've been trying. It's tough, man, without you here. I haven't done that in a long time.
That was a total shemozzle.
What was?
I went to the front door. The front door's locked, right? I couldn't find the keys, so the wife's bugging off.
You got locked in your house?
My keys. Yeah, I'm locked in my house, so I had to go out.
Someone save Dave. He's locked in his house. It's a week later now.
Via the roller door, right?
Yeah.
Had to go out via the roller door, and there is a package there, but then there's two people standing there as well, dressed all nicely and smartly. Hello, we'd like to talk to you about Jesus. Bloody hell!
What'd you
Give me a break. No.
Oh my goodness. So the amp hour just got interrupted by Mormons or Jehovah's Witnesses?
I don't know what they were. I don't care. You may as well be talking about Santa Claus. Anyway, I do actually have a package here.
Oh, jeez. Another mailbag segment. Now it's for the amp hour.
Another mailbag segment.
I promise we'll have a guest next week or something here. So this one... Actually, next week from when you're hearing this episode, hopefully we'll be talking about Maker Faire because this has been a round disaster so far.
What? Why? Oh, well,
you just went outside and got accosted by
freaking Mormons
traveling religious people.
Yep, I did. Live. This is ridiculous. I know. This is a Shemozzle episode. Hey, that could be the title.
What's a Shemozzle?
Shemozzle. A Shemozzle is a mess. It's an absolute, It's just it's a big balls up,
Yeah.
Shemozzle. I don't know where the term came from. Maybe it's Australian.
Maybe.
I don't even know how to bloody spell it. Shemozzle. Anyway, we don't have to talk about electronics on here. It's all part of the entertainment. People just listen not for the electronics, right?
Not for long, man.
It's just entertainment. It's better than...
If they listen for electronics, they're not listening anymore. I guarantee that.
Right. Boy. So
maybe we should talk about electronics?
Fair. Yeah.
No, Maker Faire? What about it? I haven't been there yet.
Well, I know, but you're going.
I am going.
It's exciting, you bastard.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what I should do in San Francisco. Obviously, this would have already happened by the time people are hearing this, but...
Yep.
So don't bother giving me suggestions, because I'll just feel bad. But I'm going to be down there Thursday, just in the city. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Maybe just tool around, rent a bike or something.
I can give you a whole list of suggestions.
Yeah, like what?
Well, what, so you got a whole day there?
Yeah, whole day in downtown San Francisco.
All right. Right, here we go. I'm not even from San Fran yet. I can tell you all about it, okay? Are you into Alcatraz?
No, see, that's the thing. I want it to be nerdy stuff. So I was thinking like...
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. First of all, if you're going down to Fisherman's Wharf, right, very touristy area, but you have to go, go down to Fisherman's Wharf, right? But there's an arcade museum there with all these. It's free. You just walk in. It's got some weird French name, I think.
Le Arcade.
La Mechanical or something, because it's got all of the old mechanical arcade machines as well.
Oh, yeah.
And it's great. You just walk in off the street and they're all playable. You can put your money in and play these things.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And it's great. Trust me. Definitely worth very techo, very worth seeing.
All right, cool.
Go to the then you can walk along the bay, and you can go to the Exploratorium.
See, that's what I was thinking about, the Exploratorium.
Yep. The Exploratorium is pretty good.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that and biking around and,
Yeah, worth seeing. Make sure you get the cable car which goes north, which heads south-north over and heads down to Alcatraz. Make sure you take that cable car. It's the best. It's the steepest hill, and it goes straight down towards Alcatraz, and It's great.
All right.
Yeah, have to ride a cable car.
Yeah, I've done that
It's compulsory.
before. Yeah, I don't know. You ever do you do nerdy vacations, right? I mean, like when you do business trips. I mean, not with your wife, but I don't know. I think it's kind of fun to try.
I do. I go to the computer history museums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
I'll be doing that Friday.
Right. I sort of haven't done that much in the past. My overseas work trips. I've just wanted to see the sights of the city. I haven't specifically targeted nerdy things because I didn't really give it a second thought. If there was something nerdy, then I would go see it. But I wouldn't. But I wouldn't sort of hunt them out.
See, that's another thing. I'm thinking about going to tech shop. I might stop in there just to see what that's like.
Right. Okay.
I'll probably visit a hackerspace. Probably go to Noisebridge. That's that kind of thing.
See, these things weren't around when I was going overseas for work trips.
They would if you would have gone this time.
No such thing as. Right. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So, I'm in the culture more now. I'm in the nerdy sort of hackery culture a bit more now. So than I was before, because there wasn't really a culture like that 10 years ago. Something like that.
Yeah, it's true.
Those sort of things weren't around. So when you visited a new city for a work trip, you just went and saw the normal touristy things. So
I guess it's just
I'm a big fan of walking the city. I just walk everywhere.
Oh yeah, yeah, me too. Because I live in the suburbs now too, so I drive everywhere now. So walking,
same
taking
here.
public transport is very high on my list of things to do. As weird as that sounds to people that live in cities, I'm sure.
No. Exactly. But the best way to see a city is either walking or taking the public transport.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think if you have to hop in a cab to go somewhere in a city, you've failed. I think
you haven't planned it right.
Yep. And you're not getting the best experience. Because I found a whole bunch of stuff just by walking down alleyways and things.
Yeah.
And just walking around the cities, and it's great. So, highly recommend you do that.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
How about electronics? Hey, I was going to ask you about...
Slim pickings today.
No. I got a good one. So, what about, environmental stuff? Because you worked on you worked on, what was it, seismic stuff for underwater or something, wasn't it?
I worked on seismic oil exploration.
So tell me a little bit about the environmental protections you've done before. So not like Rojas kind of stuff, but sealing it up. How did you usually do that stuff? Did you pot it? Did you use conformal coating? Because I've been thinking about that for one of my projects, and I'm just wondering about what I need to do and what I need to consider there.
Well, that when you conformally coat or you pot something, it's to protect your circuit. It's not to protect the environment.
No, I know.
Really,
well, that's what I meant.
How are you protecting the environment?
No. I know. I said environmental protection, but I meant protection from the environment, not protection for the environment.
From the environment. Okay, right. Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
I knew I was going to get that confused in here. I know I was going to say it wrong, but yeah.
Yes, potting is a big deal. I've potted stuff to go down 3 k's down on the ocean floor.
Oh, yeah?
So, 4,000 meters, I think, down on the ocean floor, and that's an art in itself because you have to, if you're podding wires coming in and out, each wire has to be individually prepped and cleaned with isopropyl alcohol before you pod it, so there's no contamination on each wire, because otherwise the water will wick up. The material that you're podding with won't adhere completely to the surface of the wire or the surface of the component or the connector or whatever, and water has a magic way under pressure of leaking in to things like that. So it's a big deal.
Have you seen that XKCD commercial or comic of the different depths he was showing for the when James Cameron went down in the Marianas Trench?
Oh no, I haven't seen it.
It's so good. He shows all the different levels, right? And he shows Lake Erie
right.
Actually. Lake Erie is one of the shallowest, which is right where I live. But he shows a lot of these different lakes and stuff, and he actually starts to map out where different things happen. So he says, like, at one level, I don't know how deep it was. I don't have it up in front of me. But he talks about, like, at this level, the cork in a champagne bottle pops inward. That's how much pressure there is. So and he just maps it all the way down. It's crazy.
Nice.
Yeah. Another one is if you punctured your air tank, no air. I think the water would flow into it versus the air trying to escape out. That's kind of like the nice. Measures he gives, and it's a great. Randall's brilliant, obviously, but it's amazing. So
how does he come up with that shit? I mean,
I don't know. He keeps hitting home runs.
I know. Every time.
That's why we like it.
Yeah.
So
and that's why he's popular.
Yeah.
Because he hits a home run each time.
Yep.
Well, not always. There's some of his ones I don't like.
Right.
I just think, oh no, that one's stupid,
or
boring, or whatever. But so as opposed to Dilbert, I think Dilbert hits the nail every time.
Yeah. Well, some of them are just kind of boring, if anything. I mean, they're just kind of right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you have to clean these wires so the water doesn't get in, but there are other concerns. What about because doesn't the potting compound actually, isn't it heated? Like it creates heat, like an epoxy. It actually is exothermic.
It can. Well, it depends on the type. There's many different, as you learn when you get into potting stuff. There's many different types of potting material with many types of thermoreactive. I'm sure that's wrong. Thermo processes when they, you join the two parts together and they're, exothermic or they're endothermic or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Exothermic being generate heat, and then another thing is they can expand and stuff like that, and they can crack solder joints and they can do all sorts of things.
Right.
And do you use a soft one? Do you use a hard one? Do you want vibration to external, which is an environmental concern? You've got vibration. You don't want that to couple through to your components, so you might use a soft potting compound, and I've done transfer.
It's like spongy or what?
It's spongy. I've done transfer characteristics of how much shock and vibration travels through different types of potting material, and stuff like that.
That's pretty cool.
So and you might have your board loosely sat inside your potting material, so it's not rigidly coupled to the outside walls of your box. Because if you do that, you transfer all the vibration through the sides of your box straight into your board, and your potting compound's useless. And
so how do you do that? You put it in a baggie first, and then pot around that, or what?
Sometimes you would actually hold it. You would have a jig which holds the board in place. Uh-huh. So you would have a little arm which holds it in the center of your box, or the thing you want to pot it in, and then you pot around that. And then once you do that, you pull the holder back out, and then you've got to fill the hole. You've got to plug the hole where the holder was.
Okay.
And it's
so it's a whole art form, huh?
It can be tricky business.
So
yeah, it's a whole art form, and can be very messy setting up test jigs to actual production jigs to do this. You'd have a separate bench for each different process of production, and it's a very different when you're designing an electronic product as opposed to a largely mechanical product with electronics in it. There can be a big differentiation there, whereas most of your manufacturing processes are in the mechanical world as opposed to the electrical world.
I guess
so.
Okay.
sure you'll have pass-fail testing in your board or characteristic testing, but that's only a very small part of it, Yeah. So, yeah, it's not uncommon. Like, we've got a huge, we'll have a huge factory, which is our production room, and 9/10 of it is all these benches set up for all the different mechanical processes, and then the last one is, he's testing the circuit boards,
yeah.
That's like that's 1/10 of it,
Like, this is important, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's,
You ever done sealed
very
cases,
interesting.
though? Or no? Like
sealed cases?
Yeah, like having like a rubber grommet around the edges and actually like
yes,
down.
They would be O-ring sealed. We would have a gas machine, like you actually fill them the way you test them. Test the sealant, you would actually fill them with the gas, and then you use a gas leakage detector to make sure it's not leaking through the O-ring and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So there's a whole to
There's
do.
a whole art form to... Yep.
Man, I got a lot to learn that. So did you actually have like a resource then, or no? Or was it just kind of like learning from manufacturing engineers?
Oh, you learn from other mechanical people who've been doing it for 20 years.
All right.
And at these large companies, you've had people there that have been there for, 20, 30 years, and they've been doing this sort of shit. So, yeah, learn a lot. I like it.
All right, cool.
Is our amp hour almost up?
Almost. Do you want to do a chip of the week before we go, since this is...
If you have a chip of the week, by all means.
I do, and I guess it was a chip of a couple weeks ago, but this is a pretty cool chip. It's simple. It's really simple, but it's an interesting idea for like gadgets that don't have... They have like hidden power buttons or something like that. And so it's called it's a smart reset chip from ST, and basically it allows multiple. It basically just kind of shrinks down. You could create a logic circuit that does this kind of stuff, but you could hold down if you had like 4 buttons on the front, you can hold down 2 of them, and that'll do one action.
Got it.
And if you do hold down another 2, it'll do a different action and stuff like that. So yeah, I thought this was pretty cool. The it's just
but most importantly, it does those actions independent of whether or not your CPU is frozen.
Correct. Yes, it's like
that's the key. If your new smartphone is frozen up because it's got 10 million lines of freaking code out of India,
in Java,
then and in Java or whatever, and it's just you leave it on long enough, it's going to lock up, right?
Right.
And you need a way to overcome that.
Right. And a lot of people have these for. Like I know, like my e-reader has this. It's actually a timer, and it's built in. Even if the processor, blows off somewhere, it'll after like 30 seconds, it'll do a hard reset. And there's probably just a cap or something like that in there watching the power line. If it's been down for long enough, then it does compare. And this is the same kind of thing, but this is with actually 2 buttons, so that it won't you won't just hold down 1 button. I don't know. I don't do a lot of button stuff myself, but I thought it was a cool
it's a very
purpose.
consumery type thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. But I thought our listeners might have some different stuff, and I thought it was a cool little part. So,
these little parts, by their very nature, have to be extremely low cost.
Yes,
because like if you're in a design review meeting and people and you go, well, it'd be nice to have one of these chips here. You can't afford it.
Yeah, exactly.
Instant, can't afford
What's that,
another
3
chip,
cents? No, we're sorry, it's gone.
No, can't afford the extra 3 cents. 0.3 cents maybe.
Yeah.
And these are really jelly bean cheap parts, especially in huge volume. You buy them from DigiKey and one off there. Well, it says here they're 24 cents.
24 cents
in 1,000, but
which means for 100,000,
I don't think anyone uses these in 1,000 quantity.
2 cents.
So, yep. Yeah, you might. They might actually turn your phone call at 100,000.
Yeah,
quantity.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's bugger off.
Yep. Okay, so you don't really like this chip, but it could have some use. Maybe in a high volume situation, or maybe it's just a cool single use part. So maybe people will find a use for it. But I thought it was pretty neat. Really. Yeah, chip of the week. All right, got anything else? Any other last minute things? Yeah, we probably should. All right, well, you can find us the usual... Yeah. You can find us the usual places. You can find us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Google Plus, and you can find us on our personal accounts. Dave's EEV blog on Twitter. I'm Chris_Gamble. And
but most of all, we want you to subscribe.
Subscribing, right? That's
to the RSS feed.
That's the ticket. The ticket to more.
That's the ticket, laddie.
Yep. All right. We'll talk to you next week.
And enjoy Maker Faire.
I will. I did.
So we'll talk about it when you get back?
Yeah.
You did.
I already did. I'm coming to you from the past. Bye.